And here we are. So welcome back to the industrial session. And now we are with Nelson. It's very hard to present Nelson because I personally know him. How can I say? You are in a lot of things, Nelson. I mean, basically you work in a lot of innovative things. And so basically, he is a human-centered industrial engineer, multi-skilled solution inventor, known both for being a critical thinker and maverick with a special sense for generating success. In his daily life, because he has a life beside work, this is what is written on his bio, is a source of enthusiasm and creativity, ideas, but most important, a cool and nice person to work and spend with. And I absolutely can subscribe these things. So Nelson, the stage is yours. I'm sure people will have a lot of fun and a lot of idea with you. So
okay, thank you, Fabricio. Thank you, Pedro, for confirming that on the chat. All right, I have a presentation to share. It's going to be a really cool one, really, let's say it's visual as it gets. So I'm going to start there. Okay, should be sharing my screen now on share audio. There we go. Fabricio, can you confirm me with audio that everybody can see and well? Okay, I didn't, but I guess yes. Yes, perfect. Okay, so welcome to the presentation. Today we're going to talk about the metaverse. Several points we're going to compare the metaverse with real life. And yeah, it's just going to be like really visual. So you kind of get a little spoiler of what we will be talking about, like on the pictures. But yeah, this is my interpretation, just so that you know, metaverse is quite an umbrella term as of now. So you have to think that the definition of it is quite open as of now. And just some days ago, I was reading one of the articles from Katie Hackle about 20 different definitions from important people in the industry about the metaverse, and they are all different, you know, and that's the point. So we're gonna have you will get to learn from my opinion how it is. So yeah, you probably saw this before. I hope you didn't, but if you did or didn't, here it is again. Meta comes from the Greek, which means beyond or after, and verse comes from the word universe. So when people say metaverse, we're talking about some sort of like universe beyond the universe that we know. So like a parallel one, another dimension, if you would take it like that. There's something a little bit wrong with it, and it's that here is quite magical. So, you know, when you're doing business, and what I have learned with the past 3 companies is that things don't have to be magic when doing business, but people have to find the value in it and understand, okay, this is real, this is happening, the technology is there. There's a market that is growing there, and there's money to be made, right? Because once any technology reaches that point, after, you know, like the hype diagram, then you know that it's going to exist and it's going to develop. So what is the metaverse? I'm just going to show a single definition, and that's my favorite. It's from Matthew Ball, and he writes a lot about this topic and has a venture capital company, and he's part in another one. But let's get to the definition. The metaverse is a quasi-successor internet where everyone and every company can exist, work, socialize, trade, and create. So imagine the concept of that. We're defining that this is some sort of like the second step of the internet, and I believe it's quasi-successor, in my opinion, because it's not replacing it. It's just how we interact with the internet in, let's say, like 7 or 10 years. But what is super impressive here is that he's saying that we are going to exist, which is an extremely high, like extremely big claim there. We're going to work, we're going to socialize, and also trade and create. It's basically taking almost everything that we do. I mean, it doesn't say that we will like spend our vacation there, but that will be basically everything. And I will show this is going to be the agenda. I'm going to define a little bit more how I see the metaverse when we get to the future there. But I was going to start with the past. We're just going to go to this chronology. And remember, this is all my interpretation. So I'm going to start first with the past. Then we're going to go into what we have today, how the future could be. We will compare in real life versus the metaverse. We will see what is not likely going to change, then what is likely going to change, how I believe that you can prepare today to join that hype. And then, we will go into a little let's say, conversation. I hope we can make at least 10 minutes or 15 minutes of a little discussion here. But yeah, let's go into the past. So before the metaverse and anything else, you have to know I'm from 1991, so I'm just 30 right now. But my first interaction with anything that I would think that is close to how we can imagine the metaverse is from this game called RuneScape. Yeah, the logo right now, they call it old school RuneScape, which makes me feel even older. I don't know whose decision was that, but in this game, it was an open game where you will go and just like play with a lot of random people. I come from a third world country, so I didn't have a chance to play what almost everybody knows, which is World of Warcraft. But why this game is important is because it really allows you to develop relationships with other people. I mean, I was here at my first 3 weddings. I married 2 times. I divorced 1 time. I don't know. It's kind of the things that happen there. But it's a sort of place where you will go and sometimes just have a chat with people and get to know them. Or in any moment, if you will say like, hey, okay, let's go and slay a dragon. Let's go on an adventure. That's possible, right? And you would just walk with them. And you know what I have on the GIF on the left on the bottom. You can see that people are quite mad there because this is one event in 2007 where they made a big change, and you see all the community in the most important servers. They went and started a big protest. So it's basically here like right that they are just like claiming something back, a change that they didn't like, and I was also part of this. So you can imagine that the amount of effort that goes into organizing these sorts of communities and these sorts of events, or people going together to ask for a change on the game to be made. And we're talking about 2007 to 2009, around here, before the game started turning to the direction. But you can see from the map in the back and the little yellow circles on the right that this is kind of the size of things. So we have this little place here called Umbridge, and here's a little bit closer look, and this is how it will look in game. This is with the newer graphics from the new one, but you have an idea that all of this world is quite detailed. Like there's a lot to do here, and everybody knows Umbridge because this is a place where you go when you die. But okay, this was in the past. I don't know if the word metaverse was being used before. We have in 1992 this Snow Crash novel that starts to go into describing this kind of metaverse. And then, like when people think about the metaverse, they're even describing this, or they talk about the Oasis, which from Ready Player One, which I know most of you must have heard about it a good 20 times already today. Maybe have read the book or even seen the movie. But this was for me the first time that I started to notice, like, okay, there's a second world, and I spent so much time that this is the only game that my mother recalls and remembers it as RuneScape, and it's not Nintendo, because everything that I will do on the computer before, she will call Nintendo. Are you playing Nintendo? Are you doing Nintendo again? So I must have played this, I don't know, for several thousand hours. But yeah, it was like kind of a second life. But then, like, let's see the present and how we can see these little universes or these little realities. First, I will show you not only my impression, but something that I have learned from Charlie Fink, which you probably know. For the people who are in the industry, he's writing a lot of articles about the metaverse and virtual reality and augmented reality. So he's just going to describe the following. I'm going to show a quick 1-minute video.
Spark.
VR, if you and I had this conversation a year ago, the question you might have asked me is, well, we all know that VR is a lot of fun for gamers, but what is it really for, Charlie? What good is VR outside of training people how to run forklifts or fly airplanes? And I would have said presence. And I would have spent 15 minutes explaining to you how really you want presence. And you would have thought, well, that he's a college professor, so he talks a good game, but I have presence. I have an abundance of presence. Who the heck needs who the heck needs technology to give me something which is my birthright? Okay, now I'm sitting here, and you're saying, how can I use VR for this? And how can VR replace essentially presence and let me do from my home what I used to do in the real world. So it's a great moment for VR because suddenly you don't have to explain that to people. They know it, right? They know what it's for. Now, the problem is there are no low-cost headsets.
Okay, I will continue with the next one. I hope, Fabrizio, can you confirm that everybody was hearing well? Here we go. This is the next one.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I will make it even a little bit louder for the next one. This one. Now we're gonna hear from Mike Kussel, and Mike Kussel is a big influencer in VR area, mostly B2C, like for end consumers. He has almost like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. But yeah, here you will see the next question. Again.
I think for me, like playing games is great. Playing games is super fun. But it's when you do social VR, the magic for me really happens. When you meet up with a friend in the virtual world and they've got hand tracking and you feel that presence, like you're going to go on an adventure with that person. And whether that be in like VR chat, you're just hanging around a campfire and you're just casually talking to all these people, all dressed up with their different avatars, or you're going into a game like Arizona Sunshine with your friend and you're taking on like a zombie army together. It's those moments that are really magical for me. And I think some of the first ones were with my friend Nathi, who's also like a VR creator, and we would meet up in like the Oculus toy box, I think it was, and it was just like throwing toys around and just like communicating with each other and having fun at the same time. It's experiences like that really stand out in my mind, and think social VR and this kind of like way of connecting with people remotely around the world and sharing an experience together is really going to accelerate VR in the future. It just needs more users right now, and once that happens, then I think that will be the thing that people keep coming back to for more.
Spark. Perfect. So, and as you see, like these are two interviews that I made with them, and believe me, like anybody who experiences it, that's the conclusion that you come around. There is the present, the feeling that you are there, like you trick your brain that you're there, and the other people feel so real. But going a little bit back into the present times, and this is right pre-COVID times, this is how we will look like for people when they were first seeing anything around VR. So you see on the top right, most of the people are not into it. They are just looking from far away and kind of seeing like, okay, this is this sort of technology gimmick for now. This is from 2018, and you will see that still with cables and the setup. I mean, most of the people, I guess, still kind of like use cables from time to time, changing really fast with the updates from the last weeks. But like when you think about companies, because as I was explaining, you need companies to get in for the entire thing to gain traction. Then this is how they will be experimenting with VR. So they look at it as kind of like this geek technology that you need to be kind of like geek nerd or really be into it to understand and use it. And for the ones among us that have been inside of it, we know that it's not. We know that platforms are appearing on a weekly, monthly basis that are solving different problems that are kind of more and more focusing on solving company problems for B2B. So I just want you to keep this in mind, because the bridge or the gap for getting someone from looking at and interacting with VR like this, or even like Google Cardboard one, to being inside on something like this is shrinking from day to day. But still, and I can tell you from my network around, the ones that are specifically not into VR, AR, XR, and so on, for most of them, they feel, okay, this is still a really expensive thing, and it's a really expensive toy. And, like, it's totally possible. It's totally possible to work inside of here. And one of my favorite platforms, and that's the one that we are hitting, is Rec Room, because they let you create and program inside of it. So what is for most people a game is one of the platforms that I was using for work. This was one world that we created back then for Lufthansa. just so that we can get a lot of the VPs and managers into VR and experience what is possible. But it was mostly a game, as you can see on the right, like drawing things, shooting with a bow, playing basketball, playing on a little board game that we created here, and so on. But from examples, the first ever workshop that I did in VR, it was we were only 3 people. Now I have gone into way bigger workshops, let's say like 6, 7, which is already kind of a nightmare. It's way more difficult than in real life. But with this first experience back in 2018, it was a visual facilitation workshop. And I'm gonna leave this video playing where I explain. But visual facilitation is just one of the things that you will imagine you really have to be there to show people how to draw, how to use this systematic approach to creating whatever. But what I can tell you is that it's similar to in real life, with the obvious change that you have the headset on it, and eventually people forget about it unless it's not really well positioned, and then it's having some pressure. But at the same time, it's like in real life, but in power with a lot of digital advantages. Like you can change colors really quickly. If you lose your pen or whatever, just create a new one. In this case, this is 2018, right? So I'm doing some drawings on a whiteboard that it definitely has a beginning and an end. But there's now's the possibility that you can do it as long as you want. The whiteboard can be as big as you want. If you cannot reach, you just fly up. So that's what I mean with this digital empowerment of doing a workshop. And one thing is, I don't know if any of you has had to like organize a workshop, but running out of tint and your highlighters not working when they are supposed to work, and just looking for that one that was midway working, that stress disappears in VR because they always paint. They never run out of tint. Any marker is just like unlimited there. But continuing, still in the present now, I want to show you how I envision that the metaverse could look like. There are, I don't know, like some visualizations out there. I took the effort to use one with iconograms, with one platform that I found online. This is how I visualize, kind of like a metaverse. So imagine the metaverse as a mix of different realities. And you are looking right now at a single reality. Sorry, no animations for this one. But basically what you will have is like this world that has like a purpose. This one looks kind of a little bit businessy, but also at the same time, right with the businesses, there are some opportunities for having some leisure time or doing some sports. So you see, like some people decide, okay, let's play basketball on this platform here on the far left, and other people are in these like offices where everybody gets to be in the center of the experience. So as an example, in a real office, not everyone gets to sit on the corner on the corner office with a really nice view. But in VR, everyone can. You can just simulate. Everybody gets the office that they wanted to, right? And for example, as well, like if you're playing basketball on a water platform and the ball it just like falls into the water, then you just create a new basketball ball and you can continue playing. Last time I was just introducing my girlfriend into playing ping pong. Playing ping pong was around not in VR, in real life, right? It was around 10% of the time talking with the ball and the paddle in the hands, 10% playing ping pong, and 80% walking somewhere to get the little ping pong ball back so that we can play again. So let's say that the learning curve, it was quite flat because we will have to go and pick the ball again to do it. But then a few days later, we tried playing ping pong in my living room, and then we just like put ourselves as if there would be a ping pong table in the middle, and we started playing with each other. And since you can like reappear the ball right away in the moment that you lose it, then we were playing around 90% of the time ping pong, and then like 10% of the time just like talking of what to do or whatever. And there was like 0% of the time we were like walking somewhere to pick the ball that just fell down on the floor. So the same you can apply to different things. You can bring people and out in a workshop way easily. You could check machines of how they are doing, moving in a virtual world, and using IoT from the machines to see how they are working at the same time. And you will have this information right before you in a visual way before you having to walk somewhere else. And for example, I come from the aircraft industry. There, if you want to go and check something, you have to walk sometimes 10, 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes you even have to take a bus inside of the office just to get to the right place and back. But imagine that there's this one reality, right? And then you can see on the other corner on the right, there's another reality that has another purpose, another intention. So if we would kind of zoom out of this little reality, we will see that there's other realities existing next to it. And this is just an idea, because there will be thousands of realities more created, each of them with your own purpose. Like, I don't know, maybe some of them just for leisure, or having some sort of adventure of times. Others of them will be for working. Others of them will be for discussing something. I don't know. So you can have summer, winter, spring. You can have Mars, the moon, everywhere at the same time, coexisting. Different realities with different people, moving across them without having to wait for the train. And this is kind of how the multiverse looks like. As you remember from before, some people will be working here, some people will be socializing here, others will be trading and making business, others will be creating new stuff, but in principle you can exist. So this is how I visualize, and I believe that it will be to all of us, as well as to big companies. But when I say all of us, creators and big companies, to put the effort into creating each of these realities. So there's a really nice article that you can Google, the 7 layers of the metaverse, and that will be really great. Today I'm staying more into the basics of it, so I'm not gonna go into the technical stuff, but it's a great read. So now let's move a little bit into in real life versus the metaverse. And the fun thing here is that when I tell to my mom, okay, so I go and try to talk with my mom about VR, AR, XR, and so on. This is what she imagines, right? Put a headset or anything with technology and spending time to work, so she can just recall this scene from WALL-E. And she tells me okay, but how does this look like? This cannot be good. It's yeah, what is this VR, AR, XR thingy, right? And at the same time, the comparison myself was oh, but look, when I was young, this is what we will do. And we will always see comparing using technology to being outdoors in nature and so on, which is quite unfair, I will say. But at the same time, I believe that the two things can coexist, and you can really have lots of experiences when these two worlds collide. And this is my experience. So there's this group called PFUN, or the Pink Fluffy Unicorn Nation, and all of these people and I, we are friends. We met first on the picture on the right at the Gamescom. We met actually first in Rec Room in virtual reality, and sorry, after I don't know 6-7 months, we had the chance to meet together. So we met at the Gamescom. It's the biggest gaming event in the world in terms of people who attend. Well, now it's digital, right? And then later, that was around a good year later, all of us met in the house, not far away from here, 40 kilometers north from Frankfurt, and we were coming from different countries, and we just met in real life, and all of us brought our own headsets. We were 20 people or something. We had over 85,000 euros worth in technology there. We had a showcase of all the headsets, and this time we had the first Oculus Quest, lots of wrists. Some people had the Index already. We had the Pimax and so on. But it was really cool because in this farm that is owned by two of the people that are here, we had 8 or 9 different VR rooms, and within 3 minutes walking inside of the big farm, you could find all of these rooms, each of them with different headsets. And then with people who were playing with the Quest, we had could be 10 people playing at once, and it was just really awesome because the virtual world just met with the real world, and we were just there together. And still, like we will spend some time in person, and then we will spend a lot of time playing with each other inside of VR again, even though we were present there. So I believe that's quite fun. But the most important thing that I remember, there was one member who couldn't come to this meeting, and the thing is that he has a psychological problem, and he basically gets super anxious when he sees anybody who's not his mom or dad. That means he cannot like go to a supermarket like you and me, and like just go and buy the groceries because he's gonna get really anxious, and then he can turn aggressive towards people. But the really interesting thing is that he's totally not capable, but he's just totally free to be himself in VR. And in VR, he doesn't get any of this anxiety. He's just there being himself. What he cannot do in real life, he can do in VR. And that's just awesome. And this brings me to the most important message and point here is that I believe that when you go in VR and when you live you go into the metaverse and you live, and I heard this in a podcast, you live the meatverse, like the skinverse. They only the essence of who you are carries into VR. And I tell you, I'm super excited about this like face and eye tracking that you can really bring yourself. But for some people, the ability to just be there, and I don't know, like if you don't identify with your own sexuality and you want to just portray with this skin how you feel and who you really are, then you can do. And this is super nice. I really believe that only the essence of who we are carries, because when I met all of these people, I didn't have a face to all of them until I met them. But the moment that somebody talks, it's like, oh, it's you, and and people are just like that in real life, just as you met them. And I feel that getting to meet people in real person sometimes hides more than when you get to meet people in VR. And this is just crazy to think. But yeah, now let's move into the constants. Let's move into what I think that is not going to change. First of all, is this is like studies that has been misinterpreted many times, but we kind of see that the evolution of the human attention span that it's been going down. We don't know exactly where it was before in the 90s, but we know that in the 2000s we were giving around 12 seconds attention to anything, any ad that we will look, or certain another conversation. As an example, then in 2013 it will be around 8 seconds. And everybody always compares that, the attention of a goldfish, it's around 1 second more, like 9 seconds, than compared to 2013. And if we will continue this trend, maybe in 2021, we even pay less attention because there's so much to see everywhere. Everybody's trying to call your attention. There's people talking from the attention economy. But in VR, I believe that we have the chance again, because we can focus just like, and that's my idea. You can actually use this to focus on certain things and call the attention on things that matter and that create value for the people who are watching them. So, but the trend is still there, that the attention is going down. And at the same time, something that we all know is that the volume of content, of online content, has been exponentially increasing, especially since now there are more and more apps and platforms that just let you create really cool content without having to be a geek, without having to be somebody who specializes into that. So I want to play a little game with you. You probably know a game called Where's Waldo, right? I really hope you do. But for the ones that don't, like inside of this pink frame, we're going to play the game. You have to find Waldo, who's the guy in there in the middle. So if you find him, cool. This Waldo, you won the game. But now if we think that Waldo is a metaphor for our content, then finding Waldo, that other people find the content that we do in 2021, looks a little bit like this, right? And this is still going to increase. There's even more and more content. Everywhere we see, there's going to be more going on, including the metaverse that is being built. I mean, some people argument it's there, other people argument it's not there, but with all these different realities that are being developed, sort of like island solutions, as some people say, just solely focusing on something. Eventually, they will start connecting with each other, or there will be like extremely big platforms who will manage to connect the different realities. Again, this is how it will look. And some people already found Waldo, but here it is. So if we want our content to look like this, we really have to continue with something that is not going to change. We have to create value. So I'm focusing a little bit more on content because that's going to be one of the principles of getting people into it. We have to have content there that is going to generate value for the viewer, for the interactor, for the visitor. I don't know what will be the right term for it in VR. And at least like what I have seen that works really good, this is the golden content reel, is that if you create content that inspires by giving examples of how things could be, content that teaches people and that empowers them on how to do the same things that you do, and at the same time content that entertains and catches the attention, then you have a really strong like, let's say, like content proposal. And people will be there sometimes to learn, sometimes to just get inspired, other times just to be entertained. So if you mix all of them, this is like the best that you can do. And the same is going to apply to VR and AR and now for the metaverse. If you create a place where people really feel that it is worth your time spending there, then they will continue coming and coming back. They will tell others and so on. But we really need to create value for them. So, but what's going to change? Because we have been talking really quickly about what's going to stay there. And I hope that it's not too fast, but the metaverse right now, it will look something like this. Now you need to find Waldo, right? For the ones that still haven't found Waldo, Waldo's over here. No, but for real, every time that there's something new, something growing up, there's going to be less competitors or contenders at the very beginning. And we have the chance to be there. We have to be the chance to be one of the first ones. So one thing that I imagine, and this is something that you will see everywhere, is that later in time, I don't know, maybe in 6 or 5 or 7 years, it will be more and more common that everyone at home will have some sort of augmented or mixed reality headset. I mean, it will have augmented reality plus virtual reality. I don't know, kind of like, imagine like the Oculus Quest Pass-Through, you just double tap and then you can see back into the other reality. And now that you can even do this and while still watching your keyboard, but these two things mixing. And of course, as you all know, we will not only have this, but we will continue using a second thing that we will always carry with us in our pocket. And the calculator, right? We will, no, I'm kidding, of course. It's the, sorry, it's the smartphone. So I believe that this is gonna be like the ideal combination to, like spend your time socializing, to work, just like kind of stay connected and exist in these realities. So I believe that this will become more common, and especially because of two things. One is, apart from obviously that the technology is getting faster and smaller, you all have heard from 5G. I mean, the biggest thing about it, more than the speed, is that the latency or the time that it takes from your hardware, from your device, to send something to the server and come back is reduced greatly. And just around 10 days ago, I was playing one game called Half-Life Alyx, which is quite, let's say, like performance intense. I was playing it on my Oculus Quest while streaming from a computer in Paris, running through cloud computing. And the only device that I had in the middle was a little Surface. My Surface was not even using 10 or 15% of the performance that it needs, because everything was running in a server just like 600 or 700 kilometers away from here, and it was a really nice experience. I was just playing very casually, and I almost, like, for most of the people, they wouldn't have noticed that it's not the headset that is rendering, that is like kind of calculating and processing everything what's going on, but some computer somewhere else. So 5G and cloud computing are going to allow us to bring way more power into the devices that we use without having to carry all this power as weight or heat. So that's something that is definitely going to really change. And there's so many updates. Like every week, there's something interesting in the channels that I follow, and possibly the ones that you do. You see that every week or every second week, there's something that is totally going to change the industry. So I'm quite excited about that. But yeah, moving on, something that you have probably already heard about it before, maybe a presentation from Pedro, is that we will have even more and more senses. Just 5 days ago, there is this Yaw 2, which is basically like a seat that you position and it moves you in 360 degrees, and it's quite affordable, like less than 2,000 euros. I'm talking about the pro version for business per device. It's something, it's technologies that just 10 years ago, as you will imagine, people were paying 6 digits for it. I don't know, like 100,000 euros or something to have something like this, and it will be totally just for businesses, of course. And now all of these technologies are coming, and they are at home available for us. Or the Cat VR, so that you can kind of like walk. I have tried some before. They were not quite for me, but I mean, the chances there for you to get even more and more immersed. Or Haptics, as you can see, that there's a new hardware for them, and they are even lowering the price a little bit, which is awesome. But Haptics lets you really feel other people. And before, you were hearing from OVR and so on, with the senses that you can smell things. So imagine all of these things are bringing you there, is being more immersed. And the presence that you heard Mike talking about, the presence that you heard Charlie Fink talking about before, is just going to be just way more there. It's more present. The presence is more present, which is super exciting, I can say. And yeah, so one thing that we will have to learn is to design and create experiences that genuinely engage like the users, our visitors. So we will have to really learn how to still focus people on what we want them to focus, without it being too intense or being too, let's say, like without it having to be like, just imagine like an ad. Like if you have some product placement, you can put it right in front of the eyes of the person. Like if you're Coca-Cola, I'm gonna put an ad, and just make a beat around there. It's okay to look at a Coca-Cola can somewhere, as product placement, but it's not okay to be super invasive and just like show you to take your complete screen real estate, or your complete everything, because this is where you are, to just display you an ad. That's a totally no-go. So we have to kind of figure out those ways to concentrate people in what we want them to focus on, to gain their attention. But yeah, so coming to the last part of the presentation is, how can you prepare today? Hey, how to prepare today to start entering the metaverse? And for that, the first thing is you need to rethink the website. Usually a website, and I took it from like our own website, it will look something like this. You have some sort of header, and where you can click, and yeah, that's a 2D website. But what about the website, your company's presence, or your personal branding in the metaverse? How it's gonna look? So you have to start rethinking it and do it in another way. So this was one of the first sketches for creating our 3D accessible website. How to place the products and everything, and the options to showcase the people what you do are way more exciting than they were before. So websites at once, they are like, I generally spend like 1 hour looking into all the VR websites out there. I didn't find anything that really like excited me when I was there, but I was extremely excited before, because I thought it's like, maybe people are building 3D websites already and you can access them. So let's see how the standards develop into doing that and making it more and more available and more easy to do. But I believe we will have to really rethink the website. And the way to do it, how you will start, is you have to think about your physical assets now. So for example, we have the office here, and it's a physical asset. It's something that we can really easily migrate into the metaverse, migrate into 3D or VR. So we started by just taking, and you can see on the picture on the top here, just taking with the iPhone 12 Pro, and we just scan around the building. Then we took it into Blender, which is a free software, and we just place like walls and wood and columns everywhere, exactly where the scan was, to make it look better. So you can see the difference here. This is what we built after, and here this is the actual real scan. And we did this because we thought, okay, what about having our office online in the metaverse, like kind of like the next interaction of websites? And yeah, we were imagining the first thing that you need to know is that you can create an experience for your metaverse and for this like new real estate that you have, and you can be free of it. So physics don't apply. Everything as you know it, you can reinvent it together. I have been to some metaverse conferences in VR and 3D before, and I was super excited to join. But the biggest problem that they made, and I'm gonna talk any say any like names or companies, but a biggest mistake that I ever saw is people limiting to what they know from real life. Because when you have this world that where you basically play God and you can just invent it from zero, create everything from zero, why do you have to bring the limitations from real life to this new world, right? And so we had this idea to bring the office. It's on the go, so I cannot show you anything final, but at least you get to see. Here, this was prepared by Jorge, who's just, I believe, sitting and seeing the presentation from the back there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see him because the camera is small, but yeah, like we want to be able to invite our customers to come to our office. And obviously here this is just like an idea of what we're doing, and it's just a first render. I mean, it exists in 3D, but we don't need sofas, right? Like we don't need people to sit down there. So I can imagine that in this metaverse of the future, we will have to find solutions for that. I don't know, my idea is when you're standing, and when you sit down, like automatically it's just going to poof, and a chair, a sofa, your gaming chair, whatever, your hospital chair is just going to appear right below you, and you're going to sit on it, and people will automatically know that you're sitting now, instead of just thinking that you're, like half the size that you actually are, right? So we will see how this will develop, but just think you can reimagine things as you like. Be free. Don't follow these limitations that you have, and you're gonna have a great time. And more especially your visitors, your audience, your community, your customers, even your friends who will come and support your projects. They will have an excellent time too. So that means that you will also need to be present too. There are some, like in Google, you can just, I believe it was called Avatar Me or something like this, or ready to player me, something like this. If somebody in the chat knows, please write it down. I don't have it on my mind, but you can really quickly convert yourself into this cartoon, or you can use Adobe Fuse like we did on the top, and you can just like have your own character. But at the end, you can portray yourself however you really feel, because that's the thing about VR is that we don't have this thing. So I hope that nobody is going to, in the future, make that everyone at the company has to use a suit and and a tie when they are inside in the metaverse. I believe that we have to allow all of us and each other like to just be who we really are, and just portray ourselves as we want to portray ourselves. But okay, so here's ending to it. If you haven't yet, get experience, get a VR headset. They are extremely cheap. You can really start understanding how it is. The only way how this all works is you have to experience it. This, as you were hearing before, Charlie, there's no way to explain this presence that you feel. You gotta try. You gotta be there. So get experience. I hope that everybody in the chat has done already, and there's many ways how you can start interacting with what's gonna matter in parallel. Like everybody has heard from NFTs, non-fungible transactions, and these items basically you can like sell online. And so we are starting to migrate. This is an innovation helmet that you will see in any of the videos from our website and so on. And we started to migrate to 3D, to the 3D world, and bringing it in different ways. By the way, we will sell them this, so if you want to buy. But the process is simple, right? Sketch something on paper really quickly, what you want to have. Imagine it in 3D, like even build it with clay if you so want, with plate or whatever. But imagine it in 3D before, because it's a lot of effort to create 3D objects as of now. I will still say it's getting way easier, even with VR, but it takes time. So imagine and be really sure of what you want to do. So we craft our prototypes before. Imagine them in 3 dimensions and then migrate whatever you want to VR. Yeah, at this point, I just want to say, hey, join the hype and start creating the metaverse with us today. So I hope that you had a nice time. So now we're gonna go into a little conversation. We have a good 10 minutes for shout outs. And again, my name is Nelson Mejia. Yeah, you can add me on LinkedIn. Don't follow, just press on more and then connect so that we can stay in contact. And I hope that you enjoy this presentation. So cool. Let's go into questions. Whoop, I'm gonna go back here. Now I can see the chat. Oh, everybody was talking before. Sorry if I didn't react. I do a description, representation, old school. Yeah, I felt old, Pedro. I still have my account there. Really? Were you playing that, Fabricio? We're talking about RuneScape now. Creation needs to be better than real life. Playing VR offers a risk-free way to train yourself in the game without going out of the comfort zone. Yeah, totally, Abdul. Jorge, I think that there's a policeman woman training VR something amazing. And then Calabash were still real life in this world. Should become with a mirror. Okay, I'm trying to read off that, but I'm gonna.
There's also a question in the Q&A for you.
yeah. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go into that. Thanks, Fabricio. Okay, the first one. The one is on the bottom, right? How do you see the future of decentralized metaverses like Decentraland or Somnium Space? Okay, hey, Wahid, thanks for the question. I actually don't have an opinion on it right now, to be super honest. Just like on the really quick go, it will depend on what we're doing. For example, when I think more about decentralized is, I can imagine it will be more relevant for, let's say, NGOs or companies that really need to show transparency and visualize it at the same way so that they can continue with their funding goals, as an example. And then it will matter the most. But we will have, we have different coins of the internet as of now, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. And if we are going to be trading in the metaverse, one of these old coins might take over it and be like kind of like the official coin for all of this. So in that sense, decentralization will also matter a lot. But else, I don't have a more specific thing to say. I'm sorry. I hope that still something. So Hannah, can you give some examples of 3D websites that you like? Hannah, I didn't find a single one that I like. That's what I said. I was really excited about trying it, but nobody ever did it nice. So if you will do it first, you will be the first one to do it really, really cool. That's to be honest. But yeah, let's build one together. What? Now, Abdul, what do you think will be the currency of the metaverse? Okay, that was the question. As tokenization of NFTs are on the rise, I don't know, Abdul. This is whatever I say. Anybody could prove me wrong in 24 hours because of some development that has happened. There's a lot of really interesting things going on. Wait, I'm gonna just move the lights here. There's a lot of really interesting things going out there, and I don't know whom to call. I mean, like, I can imagine for now we'll say like, yeah, Ethereum looks like that's gonna be the coin of the internet for real. That's also their claim. But who knows? There are a lot of other coins that are still like growing, and they are not as well known, but that might take the lead. So I don't specifically know. By the way, any more questions? Yeah, we have still good 6 minutes. Like if it's also more open questions, I can answer a little bit longer. Let's see in the chat. And thank you for everybody that enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too quickly. I was even coughing because of the luck. Thank you, Alex. He says, great idea to exemplify a new metaverse as an MMO, as a game starting Unity VR research. That's amazing. Perfect. I appreciate it a lot. Okay. Thanks, Magdalena, as well. It was really interesting. Same Milad and Hannah and Abdul. Pedro. Okay. Do we have other questions or anyone who wants to, I don't know, like just tell us something? What do you like the most? What didn't you like? You can even tell me what you don't agree on. That would be interesting, because as I'm telling you, like this so many people trying to define what the metaverse is. Like, if you will describe it in a single sentence, what is the metaverse for you? So everybody is making their own mind, and I even read like some people that are against the term of metaverse because of the argument from before that it hears a little bit too magical. interoperability, says Gregory. Okay, interesting. And Gregory is from pharma. I see. So we have another question. Oh, okay, we have several other questions. All right, no, two. First, I'm gonna go take the one from Martin and then the one from Abdul. Martin asks, what would you recommend for newbie for kickoff VR experience, equipment and apps? Okay, Martin, to be honest, if you have nothing against Facebook, then the Oculus Quest is the headset to go. It's quite a, like a sweet sour topic around here, because it's just a really affordable headset that gives you like close to the best experience that you can take. Like definitely the mobility is the best. And apps, I will, like, without having to spend anything else, I will start with Rec Room. I will start with I will not start with VRChat, even though a lot of people recommend it, but I will start with Rec Room. Like just going to those two. And believe me, the moment that you get in, do this thing called the first steps from the Oculus, you will just find your way. A lot of things will call your attention. Just go for the one that feels, okay, this might be interesting. Abdul asks, do you think VR rehabilitation and interventions will be used more and more in the future as we are going more digital? Yeah, totally, Abdul. I mean, there are many examples for treating phobias, PTSD, like from veterans. So, like when military catches on, even though I'm not super supportive of these things, then everything develops faster. It's like the same with space. That one is the one that I support. Military space gets into some technology, and they start having their own extra needs and requirements, then it pushes any industry forward. So yeah, we will see it more and more. I haven't even seen, and everybody has probably heard about it this time, from even speech help, like public speech help, and you have like a fake audience in front of you reacting to what you say. Jorge asks, what educational purposes do you see for the metaverse of schools and universities? I believe that it's all around, because it's a huge question, Jorge, it's all around making things visual and interactable. If you do that, it doesn't matter what topic it is, you will make it way easier to learn. Because remember, this is not a book, this is not something that you're looking through a screen. This is you being in a place, learning something that you want to learn, hopefully. But yeah. And then Abdul says, I will define a metaverse as the alternative reality that allows us to challenge reality norms and explore new ideas without constraints. Thanks, Abdul. I believe you should definitely go and read this article from Katie. Okay, let's see here. I find it very insightful. Thanks, Jared. Alex says, I think metaverse is a great non-commercial name for it. Yeah, that's true. And isn't XR a little magical in a sense? A little bit, yeah. But I don't know, but still cross, like augmented reality with virtual reality, and they cross together, cross reality, or some people say mixed reality, but yeah. But metaverse here is way more magical somehow. But when you think about it, reality, like a virtual reality, here's magical too, metaverse. Nelson, muy interesante. Thanks, Jose. Gregory, what metaverse should be non-commercial? Is it real world non-commercial? We may think about non-commercial areas, but why will we be in charge of it? Yeah, I believe that it has to be like the industry has to also have something. I mean, businesses must have something to do in the metaverse. They must be able to sell. They must be able to have their own reputation and brand and expand enough. And if you have platforms that do that, then it's just going to bring automatically a hell lot of more other users that want to experience and be interacting with. Okay, Fabrizio, that's what I mean. Be interacting with your favorite influencers, favorite brands, and so on. But yeah, so if you haven't, please follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is just Nelson Mejia. It doesn't say Javier anymore. So yeah, I'm happy to any other questions that you might have there. And thank you very much. I hope that you had a blast. So yeah, I guess see ya, everybody. Fabrice is gonna stop it anytime soon, and thank you, Fabrice, again.
Sorry, guys, but we will have another session started in 5 minutes, so we have to stop Nelson. I'm very sorry for that. I'm sure we can go both online for all the nights. Nelson. Yes.
Alex, I use LiDAR for scanning, and yes, it's good. It still has some challenges, but for now, yeah, it's really good technology to adopt and experiment. Okay, now he answered all of them.
And so now take a 5 minutes of break. Nelson, you too. Go to networking, join the table. If you want to meet Nelson, Nelson can jump into the table and then you can bombard him with a question. We will take 5 minutes of break. I need another coffee, otherwise it will be very hard.
Thank you. I'm going to go to the tables there for if somebody has any questions.
Super.
See you there. Bye-bye. And thanks for the DM, Fabrice.